while I'm back to do my monthly V videos every month because you guys still ask for it, I want you to know that I'll stop if you ask for it. And that's why, because I treat every V video like my last now, I wanted you guys to know that we actually got this starter. It's actually him. It's baby Raptor. That's really cool. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm amidst here. Today I am back to cover Military Dragon Raptor Colonel in V 2024. I wanted to cover this deck because I actually completely forgot to tell people that this starter had come. And it doesn't do anything, it's just a V series starter. But I was very happy to find it out, and then I realized that, hey, I haven't talked about this deck in a while, so why not? I did manage to play this a bit here and there, and I still think it's pretty fun. I will show you the profile that I used. And it's still about the same deck. It's still pretty much go second win. Yes, go second. But the thing is that now that we can reliably use stuff like Spinal Driver, you can technically make this a turn 4 kill deck, or you can play it like you pivot between riding Spinal Driver and then into, Raptor Colonel, or you can just go straight to Raptor Colonel and just pretty win. But either route you take though, in the same deck, in terms of gameplay, I think it's actually pretty solid. And it reminds me a lot of old school Tachikaze, which is why I really enjoy it. I'm quite a fan, quite personally, of it, and therefore today I wanted to cover it because every month I do one VDeck profile. But like I said, if you guys just don't want me to do VDeck profiles anymore, dislike this video, leave a comment, tell me, this format is dead. I'll gladly stop. This will be my last one, and you just won't hear from me for V. Now, on a completely unrelated note here, then just something I just want to get away personally, because I don't really get that much time to record personally, because I'm spending a lot of time testing for WGPs as well as my own personal stuff in my life. I just want to say, I strongly believe that it is the responsibility of people who are news journalists, who put out news, who report, who create content, that you guys should tell the truth. I strongly believe that the role of anyone who's trying to educate or tell people or inform, the first and foremost truth should be that you want to tell the truth as it is in terms of objective facts. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong for you guys to have personal opinions. I'm not saying that anyone who reports the truth or reports or teaches anybody should not have personal opinions. I'm not saying that. I think it's perfectly fine to have personal opinions. But I think it should be disclaimed, it should be known that these are your personal opinions first and foremost. For people that, do communicate to other people and put out things out there, you guys have people who listen to you. You guys have people who brainlessly just swallow whatever you tell them and fully accept. And I think it's really shitty if you start masquerading your ideals, beliefs, and agendas as facts, and then people just buy it, and then we get a lot of problems right now in the world. And I think it really sucks because we don't have official statements from the actual parties involved. We don't get a lot of actual insight or views into what the scenarios really are. And I really therefore think that if you are someone who informs other people, or someone who makes content or teaches other people, especially if you're respected, if you have thousands, millions of people listening to you, please just tell it as it is, and then disclaim your personal opinions. Don't mix the two together and then people start to buy your agenda. I think it really sucks. This year, very honestly, has brought out the worst in everybody, myself included. But yeah, it just really sucks in my opinion. Like, personally, I just don't even feel sometimes like doing these kind of things anymore. Like, I'd rather just have fun playing freaking D format. Like, I'd rather just spend time myself than to keep testing and building and doing things just for people to tell me, oh yeah, by the way, it's dead. Like, why? Like, how do you get the conclusion? Who told you that? Is there an official statement? No, you guys just make up your own rubbish now. But yeah, that's really just all I wanted to just get off my chest, because very frankly, it has been bothering me, and I really don't get much chances to review. I was supposed to do Hazard deck profile, and then I realized I kind of lost all the modern support. Like, I don't know why. I think I misplaced it, but yeah, so that's my formal excuse on why I don't have a Hazard Defiance deck profile. But yeah, I will see if I can try and review it in the future, but just take it as a no as of now. But anyways, enough of all this. Now let's actually get into the deck profile. There is no right line. It's it's V. Don't forget that. So for our grade 3s, we play 4 copies of Military Dragon Raptor Colonel, and then for our other grade 3, as I mentioned previously, we are also playing an old friend, and that is Spinal Driver. And that's all the grade 3s in terms of what we write. The rest are all, the Heal Guardians, so I don't really count that in this section, but you already know that by now, right? I'm pretty sure that's an established fact. Let's cover the more generic one first, since everyone probably knows him by now. Ancient Dragon Spinal Driver. When this unit attacks from Vanguard Circle or is rode upon, count +1 and retire 2 of your rear guards. Get a magic, give Excel. And then you draw a card. Choose a card from your hand and call it the rear guard circle. Then choose 2 of your units and you get 5,000 pounds to the end of the turn. Now, something you should just know in case people ask, because it says get the magic, give Excel, you need to actually resolve the Excel as soon as you get it. I think it's pretty obvious because it's a give gain. The give gain doesn't really go into standby or anything. You just gain it, trigger its effect, and then move on with the rest of the skill. So yeah, it's a really good advantage skill, as you can see. Even though aggression wise, it doesn't really do very much, but it's the building advantage that helps. It's speed up Excel marker. It gives you draws. It gives you rear guards on the board. It helps you cycle through rear guards because Tachikaze thrives off retire of its own rear guards. So yeah, that's why this guy is really good, very honestly. And that's why I also think that a lot of Tachikaze decks today, whether in V or in Premium, if you still play Tachikaze Premium for some reason, I think this guy is pretty good. I don't think you should sleep on him, unless of course you're playing some more degenerate version of Tachikaze, then maybe you won't need him. For example, an Anger Bleeder. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. Oh yeah, I'll link my previous V Raptors deck in the description, and then I'll also link my previous V Anger Blader. Yeah, I should probably do that. Deck profile, and as well I'll put in my channel memberships, which is as usual $3 to $7 if you want to support me. Yep. The second skill is the Ancient Dragon generic skill, which is that when your drive check reveals a trigger unit, you can put the top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for this unit. Again, because it's once per turn, you can kind of queue it, so I think this one is optional. I need to get that checked. But generally speaking, you will always just take the gauge, because gauge is good. Yeah. And the boss, the star of the show, is of course the Military Dragon Raptor Colonel. Its first skill, which is its passive skill down here, is that during your turn, all units placed during this turn battle phase gain 5,000 power. That means every one of your rear guards that are spawned during the battle phase, they just gain a free 5, just completely for free. Which is nice because, like I said, Tachikaze focuses on self-retire, so a lot of the units you kill off and they come back, they gain extra power, which is nice. When this unit attacks, count +1 and retire 1 or more of your own rear guards. And this unit itself gains 5,000 power to the end of the turn for each unit retired for its cost. So you can actually choose how many you retire, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if you retire 5 or more of your own units for this cost, and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, at the end of the battle, you stand this unit. Now, most sane people will say, amidst, I will never play a boss monster that makes me go -5. Now, to break it down for you, it gains 25,000 power because it kills 5 of your rears, right? And then, in addition, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, which means you have to fight, you have to go second, and then you can stand this unit in the battle, and there's no reduction in drive. It still keeps all the power because the 5,000 power is until the end of the turn. So you make him like a 37k beater, you attack, and then you stand it back up again. So even though in terms of advantage, because you get 2 drives back for the second attack, you technically go -3. I think that's the correct number. In terms of card advantage, you technically go -3 because first and foremost, Raptor Colonel gains so much power, it's generally okay. And because you also play a lot of the advantage gaining cards in Tachikaze, such as, like I mentioned, Spinal Driver, it generally doesn't matter. You can use this skill like 1 to twice per game, and then you should be able to win by then. If not, you virtually lose, because not everyone gets free 5 rear guards every turn, right? But yeah, that's basically about it for Raptor Colonel. I still think he's really fun. It's a very archaic style of Tachikaze that I really enjoy. It's simple, it's to the point. It's just big guy shoots center column. What's there not to love, For the rest of our grade 2s, now that we'll cover our grade 2s, let's get right into them. Our grade 2s, we play 3 copies of Ravenous Dragon Mega Rex. And then we also played 4 copies of another V staple, which is Regiment Dragon Regiodon. And then we play 4 copies of, obviously, this is Raptor Captain. So let's get into them real quick. I'm going to start with Raptor Captain because, you know, he's the right line part. I can't even say right line anymore because now people will be like, guys, that's standard. No, it's not. When this unit is ruled upon by Raptor Colonel, so last one, search your deck for up to 2 grade 2 or less cards with military dragon in the card names, call them to rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. So that means you can search for copies of him, or the grade 1 if you want to, or even the grade 0 if you play the grade 0 in your main deck, but I think the question is why. Now, Raptor Captain is a really good write-up into Raptor Colonel, but like I said, the downside comes with if you write into Spinal Driver, then you know you don't really need this on right effect. And this only is when he's ruled upon by Raptor Colonel, which means that riding this guy going first and then going to Spinal Driver is basically useless. So the question will be then, why am I still telling you about this skill? It's because when this skill does pull off, if you do go second and you go into Raptor Colonel, yeah, this +2 is insane. I don't think we have any card that pluses 2 straight off the bat just by from on right. Of course, we are excluding Steam Maidens because, you know, they just get +6 for free. But for a deck like Tachikaze, that's pretty much as close as you get. And this skill is not grade restricted because while Raptor Colonel needs to fight a grade 3 or greater opponent, Raptor Captain does not. So you could even choose to go first and just ride on top of it and then just get 2 extra rearguards to go shooting. And yeah, that's actually not bad if you think about it. The second skill for him, and the more important skill that you need to know, is that when this unit with a equipped gauge is retired from the rearguard circle by your card's ability, Soul Blast 1 and call it to an open rearguard circle. Yay, Soul Blast 1, call itself back. Where have I heard this before? Zorga Nadir. The thing is that though, it's actually a pretty nice skill. Even though it doesn't gain any power, it's not hard once per turn, it's not even soft once per turn. So you could actually use this multiple times if needed, but of course, it also depends on soul, which this deck doesn't really have. But the point is that if you do manage to get 2 soul, 3 soul, you could use all of that on the same copy. Just every time he dies, bring it back. Every time he dies, bring it back. Every time he dies, bring it back. And that's pretty good, especially when you have a guy that says, you know, oh, everyone that's spawned in the battlefield gains 5. That's a 14k attacker over and over and over again. Which, while it doesn't mean very much in the grand scheme of things, because you have such a large center attacking column, small pokes such as Raptor Captain is pretty influential. So it's still pretty fun. Definitely if you're playing a Raptor deck, this is a 4th, but if you are playing a Tachikaze generic style, I don't think you need this guy. But someone you definitely will need is, of course, Regiment Dragon Regiodon. You should know him by now, especially if you've played through 2020 onwards, which clearly most of you have, and that's why you want this format to die. So let me tell you what it does. When this unit attacks, you may put the top card of your deck face down as an equipped gauge for one of your rearguards. It's pretty neat because there's a VLR skill, so you could even ride up to this guy and just get a free gauge. Yeah, it's not bad. And it's not even a hard once per turn, and the reason why I have to say that is because the second skill is when this unit is retired from rearguard by your card's ability, call up to 1 card from this unit's equipped gauge to the rearguard circle. Of course, it itself being a rearguard first. And then after that, you may put the top card of your deck face down as a equipped gauge for the unit you superior call, and this unit skill is hard once per turn. This is the exact same skill as Blue Sprint, whom you probably also know if you played through from 2020. The reason why the skill is very good is because very obviously it is a cycle. Not as in the D series term cycle. I mean it like literally cycles the rear guards, right? It gets a gauge, you kill it, you call the gauge, you gauge again. Like it just keeps on the number of bodies that run through the board. And that's really nice. The only downside is, of course, for balancing sake, thank God, it is that it's hard once per turn. So that means if you get multiple copies of Regiodon, you only get to use this skill once. But the attack to gain gauge skill, or you can spam that as many times as you want. Again, this is a classic V Tachikaze staple, so if you play any deck related to gauge, this is definitely one of the cards you look into. Same with Blue Sprint. Last one is a much older one, but I still think deserves some respect in modern day, is Ravenous Dragon Mega Rex. He used to be a 10k vanilla, but no, we don't play vanillas anymore, unless you're in standard, then you play Flozaria. I cannot believe how far this series has gone. the fact that now all my jokes are just D-series. I can't even make an OG reference anymore. What's wrong with me? When this unit attacks a Vanguard, retire one of your other rear guards, VOR skill by the way, and then you draw a card. So it's not bad. Like you attack, you retire one, you draw one. It's not bad, right? But it gets better. If this unit is on the rearguard circle, you can counterblast 1 and then put the top card of your deck face down as a equip gauge for this unit. And it gains 5,000 power until the end of that battle for every gauge it has. As a Vanguard, that's pretty not bad because, you know, it's on attack, retire 1, call 1, retire 1, draw 1. And then because your units all have skills that affect, you know, when they kill, it generally means you get a +1. But then it gets even further when, if it's on a rearguard circle, if you build a Lord Gauge into Mega Rex, he can get a lot of power. The thing about Mega Rex is that while he's a really good generic, I think the question is which Tachikaze deck does he go into? You don't really play him in stuff like Anger Blader because that deck has way too many good cards. You don't play this guy in Gaia much because Gaia also has its own strategy. You definitely don't play this in Ancient Dragons because, you know, Ancient Dragons and True Ancient Dragons have a lot of cards inside. But for a deck like Raptor Colonel, which can, you know, endorse itself with quite a fair bit of generics, I do think it's actually a good idea to play Mega Rex at a 3-off. But if you have other, you know, Tachikaze generics that you enjoy, I know some people swear over cards like, what's his name? Like Spino Extort, then that's completely fine as well. I think either option is okay, but personally, I've been enjoying Mega Rex because it's a good Grade 2 Vanguard, it's a good rear guard, it's just something nice to have. But do note it takes counterblast, so it's probably a downside if you don't want to use it for the power skill. Moving on to our grade 1s. Our grade 1s, we play 2 copies of Savage Shooter. We also play 4 copies of Military Dragon, Raptor Sergeant. Yes, that's right. And the other guy was Savage Shooter. Then, of course, this is Blue Sprint, which I mentioned just now. And then we have Prison Bird. Bird. The bird is the word. Yeah, this is our grade 3 searcher. I think the script writes itself at this point. Do we really need an explanation of grade 3 searchers now? He gains 5,000 power if you gain a gauge this turn, and that's a V or R skill, so even as early as turn 1, it can be a 13k attacker, which is good, you know. And then, of course, the usual top 5 grade 3 skill, yeah. Play this at 4, obviously, because grade 3s mean a lot. The ability to search a grade 3 is very important because you want to be able to pivot freely between, you know, going to Spinal Driver, going to Raptor Colonel, but generally speaking, just as a 13k body on the board, even as a Vanguard, you can't go wrong with that. You really can't. Blue Sprint is exactly the same skill as Regiodon. Everything I just explained is exactly the same. It's just that it's a grade 1. So it can boost and it can attack from turn 1. Not bad, and it's an additional name. So this skill is hard once per turn to Blue Sprint. Regiodon skill is hard once per turn to Regiodon, which means technically speaking, you can use this effect twice if you have 1 Blue Sprint and 1 Regiodon on the field. So, pretty good card. And then, of course, we get into our in-archetype right line. This is Raptor Sergeant. When wrote upon the Vanguard Circle, look at the top 7 cards of your deck. Choose up to 1 grade 2 or greater card with Military Dragon in its name. Reveal it, put it in your hand, shuffle the deck. So, if you write it, you can search for Raptor Captain or Raptor Colonel. It's pretty much just like Spectral Duke, if you know what that deck is. It's like a lot of older right lines in V. It's pretty nice, you know, it's unique. And then, of course, the second skill is that when this unit attacks or boosts on Vanguard Rearguard Circle, by the way, choose one of your Rearguards without an equip gauge, and you may give it an equip gauge from the top card of your deck. I think this is one of the best versatile boosters ever because it makes sure that you have a constant stream of equip gauge just by participating in battles. And this is mainly how Raptors, you know, get their equip gauge because, you know, it's not like the rest of other V Tachikaze decks where they have other means of doing so, either through generic skills or skills that are shared through an archetype. No, this is one of their main routes and it's actually pretty effective. The downside is, of course, you usually prefer to ride him. So if you are riding him, then you might want to call a rearguard first, just any one of the great ones I mentioned earlier, because at least when he attacks, you can gain 1 more gauge, as long as it's the first gauge installed into a unit. So yeah, it's a bit of hard work to read and figure out this guy, but if you practice Raptors a bit, I do think this is definitely worth it at a 4-off if you're building into the Raptor strategy. Last but not least, just as a 2-off tag, I know it sounds very weird that I'm playing this only at 2, but this card is actually really insane. Don't sleep on it. It's Savage Shooter. When placed on the Vanguard Circle, so +1, draw a card and call a card from your hand to the Rearguard Circle. Put a top card of your deck face down as an equip gauge for that called unit, yes, you can call grade 2 or greater units, and you can start attacking them early. So if you get like a savage grade 3, you can just call it and get him to start swinging for like 24k. It's pretty intense. But for our intents and purposes, this is not that deck. That is a different deck. And the soul, we want to use it for our Raptor captain, so that's why this is not exactly a very good ride target. But it is a good ride if you have to use it. The second skill, though, is more important for us. You can rest this card and put a card from your drop zone face down as an equip gauge for one of your rear guards without any equip gauge. So now you get to choose what to put as gauge from your drop zone, so you can directly train. Because a lot of the times, though, you don't actually get a say in what is the top card of your deck that becomes the equip gauge, right? But now you can freely choose. And that's why at any quantity, you should still be playing Savage Shooter in all your Tachikaze gauge-based decks, except Ancient Dragons, but we don't get into that. It's just insanely good. I think everyone that plays Tachikaze will be able to safely tell you that this is not only a very good ride, this is also a really good rear guard. So right now I only played at 2 because there's so much space, but like if you are playing Tachikaze, generally this is like a 3 to 4. And moving on to our grade 0s and triggers, we obviously have the boy. This is Raptor Soldier. Yeah, but he's just a little boy. Yeah, that's really about it. He came in the history collection, which had a terrible pull rate because so little people I know in shops as well opened it. So yeah, I spent like 300 yen on a starter, which is unheard of in V series, but I think it was certainly worth it because it's Raptors. I want to finish the legacy, and then we play heal guards because we want to survive the early game. We play 4 draw PGs because draw PGs are good, and then the rest is just 8 crits because this is a restanding Vanguard deck at the end of the day, so you still need your critical triggers. Right, and that will wrap up my deck profile for Raptor Colonel in V 2024. I cannot believe I almost just said Divines. I would have slapped myself. I think overall, though, that this is still a pretty fun deck. It's definitely not the best deck in format. It's definitely not meta. But I definitely say this is one of the better V decks I've covered on this channel this year. The thing about this deck, though, is that, like I said, the problem is that it's overshadowed by V's true best deck, which is obviously Gurgit. And because we haven't actually got the chance to get an event for V in terms of big time, we don't really get a ban list for it. Like, they don't really know or want to ban, and that's kind of a problem. I think a lot of people believe that it's stale, and one of the reasons why it's stale is because Bushido just doesn't want to hold events. I don't get it. We actually have like weekly, monthly V tournaments in Bushi Navi in countries like Southeast Asia as well as Japan. It actually is a listed thing with an actual thumbnail. But for some really strange reason, no, it just does not translate at all. Like we still don't have enough results or willingness to get a ban list to incite and bring more life back into it, which, if you ask me, just really confuses me. Like, seriously, what is this for then? What is going on? I don't get it, and maybe this is one of the reasons why people hate V. I don't know. I don't want to know at this point, but like, yeah, it kind of really pisses me off in my opinion. But there's nothing we can do. We still have 2 more months, until 2024 ends. Maybe by then we will get a V product, and then things like this will finally be worthwhile. When you have officially sanctioned tournaments, people would listen and go. But that's just how it is. Plus, everyone is more interested in doom posting and saying, the world's ending, yada yada yada, whatever. Again, I will keep doing my V monthly deck profiles because that's a promise I made to you guys on this channel. And judging by the amount of people that view these profiles, clearly there is some form of demand. Unless I'm completely wrong and now everyone doesn't want to see this anymore, then I will just stop. I will gladly stop because it takes time away from me doing D and me doing my other things like looking after my freaking health for my academics or my family, stuff like that. But that's really just all I have to say. Thank you all so much for watching. Again, if you want to help this channel, you want to help me, just like this video, share it with your friends. I think that's important. Yeah, I will try and see, though, next month is going to be pretty interesting because we do have DZBT04, which is the Destiny Clash. I don't know how much of that I can actually do, although I am interested in a lot of the decks in that set, to be honest. Practically money is a concern for me too, so I will try and see how many I can review. But as usual, especially for those who are my members at the Swordsmith Light, you will get to see the deck profiles that I don't finish. So right now there's about 4 of them, I think, 3 to 4 of them at that tier. Yeah, probably if I can't finish every deck I want to finish from DZBTO4, I'll just leave the rest for that. I don't really care. I'm quite transparent when it comes to the decks I get to finish and don't finish. But yeah, other than that though, I'm also testing pretty intensively for my upcoming WGPs because I'm still in the running. I still want to win something, but holy shit, man, like thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.